Welcome to Broken Tusk Rising, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition actual play in the Galarian campaign setting. We're playing through the Quest for the Frozen Flame adventure path.
I'm Jessica, and I'm playing Zancath, the Halfling Fighter.
This is Josh, and I'm playing Ivan, an Orc Fighter and former Crusader.
I'm Ashley, and I play Aklep the Druid, a former member of the Burning Mammoth.
I'm Pavel, and I'm playing Lucalo, the Skeleton Sorcerer.
Last time on Broken Tusk Rising, the scouts tried to interrogate a Burning Mammoth scout, but in the end, Aklep killed him in single combat. They then made their way to the stone circle known as the Lee of Honored Souls, where they put the soul of a priest to rest and were given a magic ring as a reward. Having finished 2 side quests, they made their way to the mountain in the middle of the valley and ascended it, using the paths followed by the ancient Burning Mammoths. They had a vision of a following, and it left them feeling reinvigorated. After a few days, they reached the top only to be confronted by 2 wind spirits that Andreas had warned them about. They managed to calm the spirits, and now they are looking out over the eastern valley. So we're now on the hex map, and I'm going to start clearing some hexes away so that you can see more of what's around. First, you can see at the edge of the valley, you can see that there are mountains, and there are winter winds whipping across them beyond the effect of the primordial flame. And nearer to where you are, you can see hills to the north. And in those hills, you can actually see occasionally erupting from the ground a strange geyser. The waters erupting from it are red. And then to the northeast, you see a forest. Some of it looking unhealthy and dark. But you also see an enormous 400-foot tall tree. And as you turn to look west, you can see the 500-foot tall tree of the Dryad who you promised to help. Her tree looks similar, but the one to the east looks almost sickly by comparison. And then to the southeast, you can see a barren plain, little grows on it, and you think maybe you can see a cart being pulled across it. Further east, where the plain continues, there's a rocky promontory that juts up from the flat terrain, with a jagged cliff facing west toward you. There appears to be a large tent on top of this jagged cliff that juts up from the plain. And then there are some more plains further to the south. You can't see much detail on them. And there's some more forest further to the northeast. Far to the east, I won't reveal the hexes, but at the limits of your vision, you can see that the valley becomes a frozen swamp. You just can't make out any other details at this distance.
I need like a check mark on the hexes that we've been through.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
The ones you've been to already?
Yeah.
You've been to this one right here where you saw the black sphere of magic.
Okay, and then basically nothing north or east of that.
And nothing north or east of that.
Cool.
Yeah, we've been there.
North or east of the mountain.
That's right.
Where we are.
That's the hex where you fought the necromancer.
Cool.
Yeah.
And where you met Bodil and those other crusaders. And you have not been anywhere east of that.
Cool. Aklep wants to go to the tree.
Can we add notes to this map?
Can you add notes? You can add notes, I think.
Yeah.
There's a pencil on my thing.
You have to double click and then there's a text tab. Oh, and I can't edit other people's text.
Oh, interesting. I can edit any of them.
I'm just going to get away from the drawing tool. It's bad. It caused problems.
Yeah, there's scribbles all over the...
it's like everyone's doing like normal things and I'm like the 4-year-old with a marker.
Stop drawing on the wall with a crayon.
Yeah, whoops. Did you put... Oh, it's not cat box, it's cart box. I don't remember cat box.
It's Cartboy.
Cartboy.
What's this one? Was that the jagged
You
cliff?
can't see any details there.
Okay.
You can only see that there's a plain.
Wait a second. I think the cart box is to the southeast of
Is
us.
that
The
cart
one that's
box?
labeled
Right.
cart box.
Cart
That's
box.
the one with
I
the
just
jagged
moved where the
cliff.
cart... That's
okay.
right.
This one down at the bottom, that's from our first time we looked, right?
Yes, and you don't see anything interesting there. It's just
Okay.
hills.
Is this one Big Cliff?
That's right.
Yes, with a tent on the cliff.
Very plain.
So just to summarize for the listeners here, there's been a long session here of the players finding out how the labeling tools work, and they've labeled a bunch of the hexes so that they know what's going on in each of them. So, for example, they've labeled hex with the big cliff and the big tree and the geyser, and also the hexes they've already been through. So now they know which hex has the following and the former Crusaders, and which one has the Dryad tree, and which one is the hex where they fought the Necromancer. They've got a whole bunch of things labeled that'll make it easier for them to decide where they want to go next. Where do you want to go next?
I agree with Ashley/Aclep. I think we should check out the Dryad tree. But I also got concerns that whatever cart is being dragged across the plains will disappear by the time we get there.
It won't be there.
Yeah. I don't know if adventure works like that. I don't know if
I don't
they're
either.
just doomed to continue pulling that cart until we arrive.
I will say it looks like the pass that you're following empties into that hex where that cart is being dragged across the plain.
Sure, we do kind of have to go to that hex one way or the other. That's fair.
Maybe it's a traveling merchant.
So we can go to the cat box and then the tree.
Yeah, here's my thinking. We go to the cat box.
It's a cart box, listeners. It's there was a typo, or someone thought it was a typo. It's a cart box, and it's not a box. It's a hex. just I don't want listeners wondering cat box.
Traveling litter box merchant.
They want to go to the hex where they saw a cart.
The cart hex, and then Dryad. And then I'd kind of like to go see what's going on with the geyser, because that's the way that the demon-possessed guy, whose name I can't think of at the moment,
Metawak.
Yeah.
Went. Yeah,
So
sure.
I kind of like the idea of going, like, hit those 3 hexes and see what's... Because maybe the geyser has something to do with him. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Okay.
Perhaps the tree does too.
I mean, yeah, but we have other reasons to go to the tree, so either way.
Yeah, I want a cool ring.
Okay. So you head down the mountain. It takes you several days. In fact, altogether, it takes you 8 days to get up and down the mountain. You finally reach the foothills at the bottom of the mountain, and the trail begins following the path of a river that emerges from many small openings in the rock. As you exit the mountain pass, you come upon another 12-foot tall, 3-foot square pile of stones topped by a metal ring, a waymarker. The flat stone disc next to this one is carved with constellations as usual, with a constellation of a woolly rhino receiving special emphasis. The white handprint points southeast, and this seems like a good place to camp for the night. The last few days have been dramatic and eventful, and you've finally made it to the eastern side of the valley. The Broken Tusk following should be safely in the Crusader camp. What is the topic of conversation around the campfire that evening?
All right, I'm taking notes.
You're all exhausted. You're all so tired from going up and down a mountain that no one talks. You all hit your sleeping bags or whatever you've got and instantly fall asleep. Not even setting up a watch or taking any precautions whatsoever. Am I right?
How dare you?
I feel like you're adding a lot there.
Yeah.
Oh, editorializing going on.
I like it. That's good.
You don't set up a watch and you all die in your sleep. End of campaign.
A rare 30-second episode.
It was a good run. One of the topics you might want to talk about is options that you're facing or the different objectives that you have. Or if you have any questions about anything, you can ask me.
Zancath will say, I'm worried about moving the following past this point. There's just not as much tree cover, and I'm not sure how we're going to... perhaps we'll have to take care of the dragon. I don't know how. Before we move them past that point, I don't think we can hide them on these open plains.
That is a valid point if you look at the map.
Yeah, I think we'll have to take them through the trees to the north.
Yep, as Lou says, there are some trees to the north. If you can sort of sneak them along the mountainside, you might be able to get them into those trees, that sickly-looking forest to the north. It is true that there are, just to your southeast and your east, there are hexes of plains as far as you can see.
I know we could take them along the mountain. That feels dangerous. with a dragon around, it might be our only option. I suppose we'll see what we find and go from there. They're safe in the forest for now.
Isn't your following like big army of giant elephants?
There are a few giant elephants, yes, and there are a lot of them, which is what worries me. It's hard to miss them if they're moving out in the open.
Yes, I don't think you can hide them no matter what you try to do.
What if we disguise them as bushes? Just cover them with, little branches and twigs and stuff. And just have them go really, really slow.
So just be like a bunch of bushes moving across the plains.
Yeah.
And just like a wall of bushes.
No, you're right. That's silly. What if we disguise them as tumbleweeds? Really big ones.
Just roll them across the plain.
I mean, honestly, with the coloring of the woolly mammoths, that's not too far off, really, with their coloring. But I don't know that that's the way to go either. We'll have to keep thinking on this.
Yeah, we're just brainstorming. There's no bad ideas, I'm just throwing things out there.
No, of course not. No bad ideas.
You sit on these foothills, making your camp, and out to the southeast, the path that goes along with the river heads into this hex where you saw that cart being pulled by some large creatures.
As we were coming down the mountain, did we see the cart? Do we have an approximate idea of where that's going?
It looked like it was heading northeast.
Okay, so towards the big cliff.
Yes, in that general direction.
I suppose we should try and follow it in the morning.
And certainly find it and figure out who they are and what they're doing. I doubt they're a danger to the following, but it can't hurt to check.
If they can get a cart being pulled by big animals across a plain without being eaten by a dragon, maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe we can ask them how they can get along safely.
They could be those necromancer people, town people, those people.
That's a good point, Aklep.
I
Sutaki?
don't think they're all necromancers.
I don't remember.
It's been a really long time since I've read my notes.
Sutaki. Yep, Sutaki is what they're known as, that's right.
That's an excellent point, Aklep. If they're moving around freely, that might be an indication that they're allied with the dragon. But certainly worth asking the questions. From there, I would think we head north, take care of this item that we need to return, give to the Dryad's brother.
Yes.
I have a question. Why are you all do this?
What do you mean?
I mean, Skeleton Boy, why do you do this?
These people are my friends. I want to help them.
Aki, why do you do this?
They saved me, so I'm part of saving their tribe.
And Kathy, what is your deal?
It's their... I mean, at this point, they're my family, and this is my job, to protect them and scout ahead.
Okay. All of this checks out.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I assume you're simply here because you were ordered here. Is there more to it than that?
Oh no, I just like fighting stuff, and you guys fight stuff all the time. It's cool.
It's true, we do fight stuff a lot. We appreciate having you with us.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, let's be friends with stuff, but no, we end up fighting it anyway. It's pretty great.
Not always.
I don't know about it being pretty great, but it does happen a lot.
Okay, just checking. I mean, the whole situation is quite strange. We are also quite possibly the ugliest group of four I've ever seen.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
I take offense to that.
You can see Lou is definitely trying to polish his skull.
No offense. I mean, it is just an observation.
I mean, it's a little offensive, whether you meant it or not. It's a little offensive.
Well, that night...
We set up watches.
You set up watches.
Yeah, I feel like we were warned maybe a little
right?
bit.
All right, if you insist, you set up watches, and after the last watch, you all level up and reach level 6.
Woo!
So let's take a moment here for everyone to do that level up. So is anybody done leveling up and therefore wants to tell us about the cool stuff that they did?
I'm done.
I'm done.
Yeah, I think I am too.
All right. Jessica, go ahead.
Okay. I got, obviously, some extra HP. Armor class went up a little bit. And I got a skill increase, which I put into medicine. So I'm now an expert at medicine. In that same vein, the skill feat that I took is Stitch Flesh, which allows me to heal skeletons, undead in general.
All right.
So
Wow, that's cool.
it's funny that it's called Stitch Flesh, and I will mostly be using it on a skeleton that doesn't have flesh, but okay. My class feat, I like my class feat a lot. It's called Gang Up. Basically, it makes it so that I can flank without being directly opposite. I just have to have an ally within reach of the enemy.
Oh, cool.
That's very good.
Sort of a 5e version of sneak attack.
Yeah, so it'll make it easier for me to get sneak attack, and like I can, like if we have 3 people in melee, I can allow them to flank, and I will still get the bonus of flanking, even if I'm not directly flanking. So
Cool.
it will help me get sneak attack, which is really what I'm after.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
And what kind of hit point range are we talking about now for Zancath?
I'm up to 72.
Nice. All right, Josh, how is Ivan doing?
Ivan is not sleeping good. The skeleton is surprisingly flatulent.
Just the bones outgassing. Don't worry about it.
I do not understand. You have no digestive tract. So Ivan's at 100 hit points, which seems like
Nice.
a lot.
I'm so
yeah.
jealous.
You'll live forever.
Well,
You'll never die.
I will live forever. Surely nothing can find a weakness on this character sheet. He picks up Reflexive Shield as a class feat that allows him to use his shield to block reflex saves, which might come in handy against a dragon, maybe. We'll see.
Nice.
And also for the skill feat, he's picking up Lead Climber. So I can help you goons climb for once.
Oh, watch there be no climbing for the rest of the adventure.
That's how it goes.
That would be
That's how it
excellent.
goes.
Certainly not on that big cliff over there.
Yeah.
We're getting to the point where I think the adventures assume you have a spell way to get around climbing, so they just stop putting it in your way. But anyway, so that's
I'll tell you what, I'll let you lemon law that. If it turns out that we never do any climbing again, if you want to swap that out, that would be fine.
I don't. The skill feats are not very powerful.
No.
And a lot of them are very just sort of flavory, and so I don't really care.
Okay.
But if you let me lemon law, I'm fine. That's great. I like lemon laws. Basically, it just helps it so that if someone fails their check, they don't fail as bad. So someone else.
All right. Anything else for Ivan?
That's it.
All right. Anybody else ready?
I am ready.
Okay, go ahead, Ashley.
I got a class feat and a skill feat, and then also another 3rd level spell. My class feat is called Advanced Elemental Spell, which, when you're a member of the Flame Order, is the spell Combustion.
Oh, very on brand.
It's about setting people on fire. It's pretty on brand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good. I think it's going to be fun. I hope to use it soon. And then I got a skill feat, and none of those were super interesting. So what I got was Holistic Care, which allows Aklep to provide emotional and spiritual care. So he can reduce the following conditions with treat condition: frightened, stupefied, and stunned.
Well, I considered that one. That's a good one.
That is a good one. Being able to treat conditions in combat is very useful.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining that Aklep lets us borrow Grifka, her support animal. We just sit there and just pet him.
And then your hands have little burns on them.
Ow. 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 But I feel better emotionally.
I feel better, but also
I can't stop.
Isn't that different from petting a cat who wants to play with your hand?
not
Very
really.
true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Grifka's a cat.
What about Lou?
So Lou picked up the class feat Reach spell, which gives me additional range on any spell with a range, which is great because a lot of my harm and heal stuff, the single action version just has a range of touch, and now it is 30 feet. And my 30-foot range is now 60 feet. And one of Lou's concerns and complaints was that he's always just barely out of reach because he doesn't want to get hit. Well, now that's less of a concern. He can stand back and just snipe away. And y'all probably have seen he's just practicing kind of like sniping things during downtime.
I'm sorry, does it also apply to heal? Can you use a one-action heal at range now?
I believe so. Any spell with a range. Let's see. One second. Let me double check that. I do believe that too.
Because one-action heals are touch.
Yes.
Does it change a one-action heal to a 30-foot range?
Yes. I will say that the reach spell does take an action itself. So, it's...
Oh, okay. No, there's no point then.
Well, I mean...
Might as well do a two-action heal then.
Yes, that's true. But it's
two-action
really
heal heals more anyway.
Yes, and now but now I can use reach as well as two-action heal to heal at range for 3 actions, whereas I really couldn't use the 3-action variant of my heal spells because that is an emanation from me, and that would hurt me as much as it would heal everyone else. Which, Lou's willing to, suffer a little bit for the team, but now he doesn't have to.
But you can use that 2-action heal now at longer ranges.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty great. Lou does not like being in the middle of combat. He's very aware of his frailty, and now he can do something about that. I'm going to say, Jessica, if you're okay with this, I'm going to say that Lou has been following you around, and you've been training him to be more stealthy, while he's been letting you basically experiment on him for that Stitch Flesh skill. Yeah. So he also picked up the skill training feat, and now he's more stealthy now. So hopefully he won't be, just rolling his ankles and cracking things everywhere he goes. And he also picked up the heroism, however you want to pronounce it.
Heroism, yeah.
Heroism spell. And because Sean is the one who recommended that, I'm going to say that maybe back at camp, Andreas kind of extolled the virtues of that spell, or maybe he helped him learn it or something, and he's just now gotten the hang of it.
What does heroism do?
And that gives a +1 status bonus to attack rolls, perception checks, saving throws, and skill checks, and it's a 2-action spell.
Nice.
It's like a super guidance.
Yes. And I think it does have a range listed, which is touch, but now I can do it.
Now you can cast it at range. That's great. And also, it has a duration, right? It lasts a while.
It lasts for 10 minutes. And as far as I can tell, it's just that +1 for the whole 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's great. That's excellent. That's going to be very helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So everyone has leveled up. Anything else anyone wants to let us know about?
I love you guys. That's all I got.
That was out of character, right?
It can be both. I think I love all of you already. It's pretty cool.
See, it's a power of friendship.
The next morning, the 19th of Erastus, you enter the plains below the mountain. That cart you saw must have traveled a significant distance in the days since you first saw it, though it wasn't moving quickly. The river bends southward, as you can, I think, see on the map. I'm going to move you a little bit here. The river bends southward, flowing toward the lake, near where you rescued Bodil from the necromancer and her giant undead moose. On the next day, the 20th of Erastus, you begin reconnoitering the hex. And after a few hours of exploring, the air grows foul.
Ugh.
It's the smell of death. And the sound of buzzing flies grows loud as you crest a small rise and see a grassy field turned red with blood and scattered with the decaying corpses of elk. 3 large creatures are loudly crunching on the bodies of the elk. They look like this.
Oh, the hyenas.
Aw, it looks so happy.
They're bigger than normal hyenas.
Yeah.
These are some sort of maybe distant ancestor of hyenas.
Oh, they're hungry.
They're not cute. Stop it.
Look at that smile.
Yes, that smile is part of the problem.
It is a lot of teeth.
Very pointy teeth. And I like how there's a bloody skull in the grass around its feet. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way. I mean, he really cleaned that skull if that was him.
He's a growing boy. He needs his proteins.
Like me eating wings.
There's an image.
As you're looking at these 3 creatures, One of them sort of sniffs the air and then turns to look in your direction, and then the other two turn to look in your direction. I would like everyone to attempt a perception or a survival check.
Okay.
Perception it is. Do you want this blind, or can it be...
Oh, sure. Let's make it blind. Let's have fun.
That's what I call it. Fun.
So let's start with Lou. Lou discovers a shiny rock at his feet
Aww.
Wow, look at this thing.
and is momentarily fascinated by the shiny rock.
Ooh, you did really well.
Wow. I think this is
Lucky.
maybe obsidian?
Yeah, it's... I don't know. You tell me. What is this rock? This rock looks like the shape of something interesting. What does it look like?
First, I definitely think it's an arrowhead, so I pick it up. I'm like,
Oh, look at this.
All right, so Lou picks up a rock that looks kind of like an arrowhead. Ivan, you don't notice anything in particular that... Oh, I'm sorry, you do notice one thing. You look at these creatures, Ivan, and you think, they look like they're not sure if they should continue eating rotten elk meat, or maybe they think maybe they could see what you taste like instead. They look like they can't make up their mind. Zancath, you think that if you get closer to the tracks that the cart has made through this area, you think you could identify what kind of creature made those tracks. And Aklep, you realize that these wagon tracks are continuing to head in almost a perfect straight line toward the northeast and toward that big cliff with a tent on top of it. They continue to move relentlessly in that direction in a straight line.
Oh, I'm glad that I'm really paying attention to the wagon tracks and not the three kind of vicious-looking creatures. I'm like, yeah, y'all are fine.
You notice them, and you notice just like, and so does Zancath, you both notice that these three large creatures look like they can't make up their mind if they want to continue eating rotten elk meat or maybe see what you taste like.
Aklep looks at Zancath and goes,
You taste disgusting.
I'm gonna look at Ivan and be like, Ivan, would you mind making yourself appear as big and scary as possible, please?
This is already maxed out.
It's try-
This
just-
is 11 out of 10. Ivan mode right now. This is, I guess I understand. He'll do the there's a bear move and put his.
All right, are you trying to
head.
intimidate them, or are you trying to somehow persuade them to leave you alone, or what are you trying to do?
This sounds like intimidation to me, but
Okay.
Maybe I'm acting because I'm really scared inside.
All right, you want to attempt an intimidation check?
But I rolled a 23. This field is very bloody. I mean, this is a lot more blood than I imagined.
Said it was a blood-soaked field.
It is so
I
blood-soaked.
It is very
just
soaked.
could
killed
not.
the whole herd.
How much blood is in an elk?
Less than this, I think.
Apparently, Olympic-sized pools worth of blood.
All right, so the three creatures recoil a little bit as Ivan puffs out his chest and looks really big. Anything else anyone wants to do?
I'm a nature guy, and I want to
Yeah.
know, are these like natural creatures?
Yeah, make a nature check.
Okay.
Ooh.
It was a 33.
With a 33, gosh, I'm going to tell you a bunch about these things.
Nice.
So these are hyenodons.
Oh.
They're sort of primitive hyena-like creatures. They're extinct, of course, in the real world, and I think that entire line of mammals actually went extinct. I don't think they're actually that closely related to modern hyenas. They, of course, have incredible jaw strength and can smash bone with their teeth. In particular, this group of them, they're not really all that aggressive toward you. You think you could pretty easily calm them down, or even make them friendly if you feed them some fresh meat.
We've been told not to bring animals back to the following, so...
I think the following would really struggle to feed these guys.
We don't have to bring them back. We just keep them with us.
I guess they could just be our friends.
Yeah?
Just keep them with us.
Emotional support hyenodons.
I think we'd have a hard time keeping them in meat.
I want to kill them, but can't we just walk around?
So, Aklep, with that roll, you know that you could, if you wanted to, sort of calm them down and look non-threatening and walk around them if that's what you want to do.
Okay. I would
Don't-
like to
don't do that.
calm them down.
No.
But they are, like, natural creatures. These aren't something
That's right.
weird and... Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. These are natural creatures. These are large, big mouth, big toothed, carnivorous natural creatures.
So I feel like Aklep does not want to kill a natural creature if it's not threatening him.
Yep, they're just doing their thing. Now, what seems kind of unnatural is this field of dead elk all over the place.
Yeah.
Does it seem like
Do they appear to have been killed? Yeah, that's
Yes.
the question.
How did they die? Like, did these hyenodons do it? Did they die some other way? Can we tell?
It's hard to tell for sure, but they have been physically attacked by something, right? So it's not like they got fireballed or something like that. They have been torn apart and attacked, maybe with weapons, but they have been physically attacked. The hyenodons are just cleaning up the mess.
Aklep has a really impressive knowledge of these creatures. Do they tend to be scavengers?
Yes,
Okay,
but they will also eat, and in fact, they prefer fresh meat.
sure.
Okay, so how do I don't know, act non-threatening?
Well, that's up to you. You made a sufficiently high nature roll that you can persuade them to leave you alone.
Oh, okay. That Aklep would like to do that. I don't know what role that is.
You don't have to roll.
Oh.
You've already rolled.
Neat.
You've already rolled a critical success on your nature check.
So Aklep will share.
I think these guys are scavenging whatever killed these elk. We should leave them alone. They're just doing what they're meant to do.
Agreed.
It's a circle of life.
Do I think if I got closer to some of the dead elk, I could get a better idea of what killed them?
Yeah, you could probably do that.
Okay. I will, just to be on the safe side, drop into the grass, because I'm short and little, and sneak over to an elk to examine it more carefully.
Okay, make a medicine check.
Okay. 28.
Looking at this creature, it looks like it was partially attacked by some sort of natural weapons, like it was sort of torn at, but you also see indications of maybe some sort of bladed weapon.
Weird.
So someone attacked this creature with some combination of claws and blades. So anything else you want to do?
Not till I get to the tracks.
Yeah, so you make your way around the hyenodons and this area of dead elks, and you follow the line of tracks, the wagon tracks.
Now that we're closer, can I tell what the creatures were that made the tracks?
Yeah. Based on your previous perception checks, Zancath and Aklep agree, and upon their first inspection, that whatever is pulling this wagon has large feet and is itself large, as in a large creature. But as you continue to follow the tracks, you find that this creature has large, round, flat feet with 3 big toes, splayed like a rhinoceros. But there's something strange. Some of the footprints have strange, sharp marks like bones or claws being dragged. Like maybe these are the footprints of a bony, undead rhinoceros.
Oh.
In fact, the cart was pulled by 2 of these creatures, and they are probably moving slowly. Around the area of these tracks, you also occasionally spot humanoid footprints, someone walking barefoot next to the wagon, and the hoof prints of what look like horses.
Can I connect anything that I'm seeing here to the wounds on the elks? Like, can I get the idea that these creatures participated in the killing of the elks?
You really are not sure.
Okay.
Although there is a little bit of a trail of blood along the wagon's path, although that dissipates after a while, and you don't know if it's just from driving through the blood or if they were the cause of all those dead elks. With additional time following these tracks, you also discover that 2 of these pairs of footprints, 2 of these bipedal creatures, humanoid creatures walking, seem to have extra large feet.
We're just judging their foot size now.
Yeah, they just have really big feet.
Can I get an idea of numbers based on their footprints?
It's kind of a mess.
Sure.
Because of the wagon and the large creatures. You'd guess there's at least 1 horse, maybe 2, probably not more than 2. And in terms of humanoids, probably 2 large humanoids. And you're not sure how many smaller, regular size, medium size humanoids there are.
Okay.
At least 1, probably no more than 3.
Okay. It seems to me that we are probably following the necromancers or something, some group related to them, based on the tracks of the possibly undead rhinos, which is what it seems to be, but it's hard to tell.
I'll give you one other piece of information. These wagon tracks are large, as in the wheels of this wagon must be quite large, and it must be very heavy because these wheels are really sunken down into the soil. They've really left deep tracks.
Okay. Yeah, so we can continue to follow them, but I do suspect that there will be a fight at the end of these tracks, if that is what we want to pursue.
Might be leading us to that city. Leuba.
You do know that town, that village, does lie somewhere to the east.
It was many months ago when we were told about that town,
Yep,
the village to the east, yep.
Would not have remembered if you hadn't said anything.
I wrote it down.
I think the Ashen Tower, where the necromancer lives, I think he's before that. I think it's like the mountain we just came down, then the tower, and then the village is way at the end. I think if this wagon's full of undead, or being pulled by the undead, it's probably more likely to be going to the tower than the town.
Sure, that makes sense to me.
I was just going to recommend maybe, if we want to fight this wagon thing, let us make haste in front of it and set up ambush.
Yes, I do not want to fight an entire village. Just part of village.
Agreed. It certainly seems better to fight the wagon than to fight the village. If that is what we want to do, we're going to have to fight them eventually.
But maybe we don't want to ambush a giant army.
You know what? I mean, the wagon's not going fast, right? They must have to stop overnight for rest. Maybe we don't even have to fight them. Maybe we can sneak up and at least see what they're carrying if it's so heavy. It's gotta be important.
But I'm not seeing many footprints. There's two big humanoid creatures, several smaller ones, and these two pulling the wagon.
Could be giant cage packed with skeletons.
That's true, there absolutely could be. I don't know what's in the wagon. Why don't we try catching up and being stealthy and see if we can see what's going on and we can decide from there.
We will let you be stealthy.
Sure.
Well, I've been practicing too. But yeah, it probably makes sense for Zancath to go and be stealthy.
All right, so for now, you know that they are days ahead of you. They have a multi-day lead, even though they're not going quickly. So you continue following the tracks then. And in the evening, you reach another waymarker. The stone disc on the ground depicts a 5-star constellation representing a mountain with a peak that touches the stars. The waymarker's handprint points southeast, which is another hex of plains, at least directly to your southeast. And of course, the wagon is going to the northeast.
Yeah.
Cool. So you've finished reconnoitering that hex. The next day, you wake up, you get back on the trail of this wagon. It continues relentlessly to the northeast. It's going slowly. You are gradually catching up. And eventually, you get close enough to see the wagon as it descends a gentle slope. In the distance is a cliff-like rock formation with a round tent on top of it. You know what a yurt is, I'm guessing?
Yes.
It's got a yurt on top of this rock formation. The wagon appears to have a cage on it, but you can't tell what's in the cage from this distance.
Called it.
What do you want to do?
Yes, you did. Well done, Aklep.
Can we tell if the wagon's going to get to the yurt before nightfall?
No, you have some time.
I guess specifically, I want to know if we'd be able to intercept it while they're camping out for the night.
If they camp out for the night, then yes, you might be able to get around them and intercept them.
We've been following them for a minute. Have we seen evidence like a fire pit or where...
You've seen no evidence of a campsite.
They don't camp.
You've seen no evidence that they even slacken their pace.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing about undead, when you got undead
I was gonna say.
pulling your wagon.
As long as the humanoid people can sleep in the wagon, they're okay. Are we close enough that I could sneak towards them and get a better, how close are we? Can I sneak ahead to get a better view, or are we not that close?
I'm going to say that you are probably a mile away.
Okay. I think that I should sneak forward and try to get a better look while you all stay well back.
Okay, you want to sneak ahead?
Can anybody give me any assistance in my sneaking, just to be on the safe side?
Let me see what I got.
I don't know how I would do this.
No, you're useless.
You could always cast guidance.
Yeah. I'm wondering, well, it's going to take her more than 10 minutes to go a mile, so it doesn't feel like it's worth using heroism here. Although, I think guidance is only until the start of my next turn, so I think that's even a shorter period.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I assume I'm about to have to make a stealth roll, and just a +1 on the stealth would make me feel better.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll go ahead and cast guidance.
Okay.
Cool.
Go ahead and make that stealth roll, Zancath.
Guidance on. Okay, here we go. Do you want... I'm just going to make it blind, because you're going to want it to be blind,
Yep.
but I really want to
Yep.
know what it is, but I
know.
being good.
Zancath disappears into the tall grass of this field, and every once in a while, because you know what you're looking for, you can see a little bit of grass move. But she seems to be doing a pretty good job hiding. As she moves forward, she eventually closes on them. Now, do you want to move up sort of parallel to their path, or do you want to come up sort of behind them?
Am I going to be able to see, like, is it a covered wagon, or, like, will I be able to see into the cage regardless of what direction I
You
come
can
up
see
to?
into the cage.
Okay,
Yeah.
parallel then.
Okay, so you move parallel to them. As you get closer, you can now see that there are two skeletal woolly rhinos with patches of skin and fur still clinging in some places, and they're pulling a massive wheeled iron cage filled with sick or wounded elk. There are two humanoids on skeletal horses riding ahead, and 4 figures on foot. 2 of the figures on foot are giant-sized and have the shambling gait of the undead. No offense, Lou.
This is how I walk.
They do not seem to have noticed you.
Okay, so there's 4 figures on foot. 2 of them are big. There's 2 undead horses with skeletal figures on the horses. No?
Nope, the horses are skeletal.
Okay.
The figures on them are
aren't.
not.
Okay. So the 2 big creatures are also undead?
That's right.
Okay.
They look like enormous zombies.
Okay. So there's 2 big figures on foot, and there are 2 regular-sized figures on foot?
Correct.
Okay.
Also zombies?
It looks like the 2 regular-sized humanoids on foot are not undead.
Okay, so 4 not undead people. Creatures.
Correct.
Okay.
Their clothing and equipment sort of reminds you of Sutaki, the Sutaki that you've met,
Okay.
and also that necromancer that you fought with Bodil.
Yep. I'm going to get a good look, and I will then sneak back to the group.
Okay.
Once I feel like I'm out of distance, like I'm far enough away that they're not going to see me, I'm going to just move instead of sneaking to speed up.
Okay. So Zancath eventually returns to the group. As far as you can tell, there's no sign that the wagon crew has seen any of you.
Zancath reports back what she found.
Zancath summarizes this group of necromancy-associated people.
Did they have weapons?
Wait, I assume yes?
Yes, they had weapons.
Yes, they had weapons. I don't know what they're planning to do with all those wounded elk, but I can't imagine it's a good thing.
I mean, the dragon needs to eat a lot, right?
I mean, yes, that's a good point. It could simply be to feed the dragon.
Dragon's got to eat, folks. That's not evil.
Do I feel like knowing our abilities versus what I've seen that we could take these guys relatively easily?
Gosh, I don't know. How would we determine that? Is there a rule for figuring out how severe an encounter is?
I don't think so.
Yeah, not that I know of.
But I don't know.
Did they look like twerps?
They don't look like pushovers. I mean, just a woolly rhinoceros by itself is, not trivial.
Yeah.
Whether you could take them as a group with your new level 6 abilities, hard to say. You would have to keep in mind that although they're all sort of clustered together right now, any area of effect spells would probably affect the elk as well as all the other things.
I mean, this woolly rhinoceros has already died once.
Can't be that tough.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm less worried about hurting the elk because they're already wounded and, I don't feel good about it, but I'm not upset about it. Circle of life. Happens.
Sure.
What do you all think? Should we try to get ahead of them and ambush them? Should we just let this go and let the dragon have its meal?
I think if we kill them all, I think it's going to be pretty obvious that there's something in the valley that's, not friendly to the dragon. I don't think we should dip our hand. And I also don't want to fight 2 undead giants and 2 undead rhinos and 2 horses. Just bears of anything I don't want to fight.
Now, the rhinos are currently lashed to the wagon, so, releasing them to do combat would take some time if they were used in that way. But still, they could be released to fight, presumably.
Ivan, Aglep, thoughts?
You first, Aki.
I do not know. I feel that we have to eliminate threats to the tribe, and these might be a threat to the tribe, but maybe not.
Ivan?
Well, I would love to fight them, so...
Sure,
but,
you have expressed your desire to fight things.
Yes, consistency is important when it comes to character development. But it is important to consider big picture. So I can fight it later if you want. Showing that we are here by ruining dragon meal. If dragon's hungry, then it is more likely to look for your big elephants.
Also, good point.
I mean, you're not wrong. Feel like we'll have to fight these guys eventually, one way or the other, whether it's here or in a town full of other necromancers. It's hard to say. They are a threat to the tribe, to the following.
So you're saying we pick off the small group?
That's my inclination, yes. But I do think it will be dangerous. I'm not sure how we'll do against this group. It is larger than I would prefer, even.
How many people are we talking about?
There were 2 undead giants, and then 4 humanoid, non-undeads.
Giants like basketball players or like literal giants?
Large-sized creatures, so small as far as giants go, but still they could be small giants.
They're bigger than Ivan, which seems huge to me.
What is basketball? And sometimes size is inside, so don't,
I'll give you a little bit more information, Zancath. I'll give you something a little bit more since you got pretty close. Each of these large, shambling undead is wearing a suit of scale mail that looks like it's sort of been stretched to the breaking point, and a blood-stained cloak with some sort of sigil that you couldn't make out from that distance, and a steel shield. And that equipment is not Sutaki equipment.
Nope.
That is something else.
Crusader, isn't it?
It does remind you of what the Crusaders wear.
Yep. It's possible that the larger creatures are some kind of Crusader or have at least been equipped with Crusader equipment.
Did you used to fight with giants?
No, there weren't any giants in the Crusader force.
I was quite small back in Crusader days, so everyone was quite big.
Can I roll something to get a idea of whether or not we can take these guys? I
don't even know.
I don't know what that would be.
You could make a knowledge check.
We can roll initiative. That's good.
I am willing to stand in way and challenge them to one-on-one combat if they, partake.
I'm not sure them as necromancers are going to be quite that honorable.
Yeah, probably not.
Wow, I'm looking through all the list of the various lores. There's so many.
We could try to talk to them, but the last necromancer did not talk to us.
No. I'm not sure these guys would be chatty either, so...
I think I could take one, but I don't know about 2, see, so...
One of the big ones or one of the regular-sized ones?
Oh, of course, regular size, easy. Too easy. Big ones, I don't know.
I'll take a big one.
See, look, we're ready to go. We're good.
As long as it can be set on fire.
Everything can be set on fire.
If you try hard enough.
They do look pretty flammable.
If it is hot enough, it works.
Exactly.
Okay, Mike, I think you can stop looking. I'm going to just take it.
I found nothing.
Yeah.
I found no instructions, no discussions of anything related to players doing anything to determine how difficult an encounter is.
Okay.
I found nothing at all.
We need Tara's ability from D&D.
Yeah, that thing where she can determine how many hit points
Just
and all that kind of stuff.
Scan mode.
Yeah, it would be nice.
I found nothing related to that.
Okay. That's really what I expected.
I feel like we are at disadvantage and unsure, and in any such situation, you should not do it.
I
Well,
agree.
the end of that comment did not go the direction that I expected it to go.
Well, it is important to have good head on shoulders. I wouldn't be alive to this day if I just fought everything. Come on.
Does anybody have knowledge, like a specialized knowledge skill related to undead?
I do have a necromancy lore skill.
Okay, roll that.
There you go.
Blind or public?
Roll it blind in case I want to give you misinformation.
Oh, I don't like that.
No.
Oh, shoot.
Lou, you haven't heard of these large undead before, but yeah, based on the description that they've given, you think you could probably take them.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm feeling really confident. I mean, they're undead. We've fought undead before. I think if we do fight them, I do think we can take them. I mean, I haven't seen these guys before. Maybe this is something new they came up with, but, I mean, my necromancer wasn't very good at his job, because here I am, so they're probably not very good at their jobs either.
I'm leaning towards taking them to go and ambush them and just try to take out this group. I think the dragon knows we're here, and revealing ourselves one way or the other isn't actually going to do much, as long as the following stays put for now. I mean, the dragon certainly knows that the Crusaders are there and hasn't gone after them, as far as I'm aware. So, I'm leaning towards trying to ambush them. What do you all think? Anybody else strongly for or strongly against?
No, I am only light against. I'm not strongly against or for.
I'm not worried about the undead. I don't know about the living creatures, the actual guys. If it's like, a pair of powerful necromancers, that could be a problem. But the undead guys, easy peasy.
We have little to gain from this encounter. This is not even experience point-based adventure. So,
Maybe we gain not having to fight them in a bigger group later.
That's my thinking.
I have an idea. So they must have to go out and get dead elk or other things all kind of often, right? What if we wait for them to go back out on another hunt, and we make sure we rustle up some animals for them to fight that'll fight back, and that way they'll be weakened, and then we fight them. Maybe we can find some more of those hyenas.
I don't think we have time to sit around and wait for them to get back and then to come back out. I don't know how much dragons eat and how often they do this. Or even if they always come here, they might go other directions. Shocked that they haven't hunted the elk population to nothing at this point. Okay, Ivan convinced me. I think we should just head north to the Dryad Tree and continue the way we had discussed. There is little to gain from this. We don't know if they will be part of anything later. So let's just continue on our way and be aware of these groups. Perhaps we'll see them out later.
yes, either way, we have gathered good information about your this dragon. So,
Okay, so you decide to ignore the caravan for now and instead move northwest to the forest that you saw from the mountain. And we'll find out if that decision comes back to bite you in 2 weeks.
ominous again. Thanks for listening to Tales of Bob. You can help the podcast by giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, by following us on Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram at The House of Bob, or by chatting with us on Discord, and most of all, by supporting us on Patreon. That's at patreon.com/thehouseofbob. This show is possible due to all of our patrons who get exclusive one-shots, campaigns, and other cool stuff. You can also listen to the House of Bob podcast, which, unlike Tales of Bob, is not clean, but is a lot of fun, with campaigns in different systems such as D&D, Pathfinder, The Sprawl, Frontier Scum, and more. Art and music are by Mike. Audio editing is by Jessica Colvin. Thanks again for listening, and roll on.
You had a vision of the following, and it left you feeling reinvigorated. Although that's one of those weird things where they give you a status bonus for the period, following that event. But of course, going back down the mountain takes another 4 days. So that status bonus has absolutely no real practical effect whatsoever.
I don't know. I'm done playing anything that can cast magic for a minute.
It takes a lot.
I'm not upset about having a rogue, which is just so easy to level up.
Yeah.
Every time we start recording a new episode, all knowledge of Pathfinder just leaves my brain and slowly trickles in as we record. Like I feel like by the end of a recording, I'm like, yeah, I know how this works.
I know how to do this.
Yeah.
But then by the next time,
Ivan has a picture. He's like upside down though. What's happening?
Yes. I picked a picture that was in the library.
All right.
Oh, I thought it was just a shovel
Why is he
first.
doing a
Upside down.
handstand?
It is drone image. I was fighting and action came.
Got it.
Pretty cool.
And they look like... Hold on. That's the wrong folder. That's not going to work. They look like... Hold on. Just a moment longer.
Hold. What's the image? What's that image? Is it a guy lying down
I don't think he's lying down.
beside Josh's name?
Oh, he might be taking a nap. Yeah.
Yeah, why is that there?
The rest of us just have our images, like our.
Are you talking about
And
Ivan's icon? Ivan's...
Where he just did the intimidation
Josh's
check,
icon.
right beside
Oh.
Josh, there's like a guy laying
Oh.
Yeah, I am dead.
What? What does that
I
mean?
don't know.
Who killed me? I've already died once. Come on.
Also, why
Stop
is
it.
Josh rolling and not Ivan?
It says Ivan on my thing.
It says
Oh.
Josh to me.
yeah.
Yeah, mine
Huh.
too.
Mine says Ivan Josh intimidation check.
Weird.
But
Okay.
it does have the image of a guy lying down. I don't know what that means.
Oh, Mike made a face and then started.
No, I just remembered something.
Okay, good.
You didn't say anything. Nothing you said triggered anything. I just remembered a rule I have to look up.
Still ominous.